So you can hear people who pray to you, but you can't speak to them?
That's correct.
Then what's the point of praying if you never answer them?
I'm still working on that.
What's her ability? I mean,
I know.
what do you think her ability is? It's like they pray, she hears people's prayers, but she can't like respond to the prayers?
Maybe something with the mind. Like something like telekinesis?
I hope so. Otherwise, people would just call her a god. And I don't think that's right for this game. Because it's
Yeah.
all about magic. And
Yeah.
a bit of science, too.
I like how
See?
she's smiling here. That's a nice look.
Oh, for Janis?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't like how, what's her name? Blonde lady's smiling. I don't like how she's smiling.
She's
If
just
you're
real-
failing to answer people's prayers.
I know, she's just real uppity about it. Oh, I'm the greatest. I'd like to introduce Thea Leone, our resident goddess.
Oh, come on. You're not gonna... No, don't give her resident goddess as a title. No, she hears them, but no, she doesn't answer their prayers. She doesn't do anything for them. She doesn't even do words of encouragement. She's just like, okay, I hear you, but I'm not gonna listen. So, no, you're not... No. You're gonna be known as Thea the Blonde Non-Goddess.
I was just gonna say, she should just say, and that's Leah.
That's Thea the Phony.
Thea has always thought of herself as a divine being far above mere humans, but only recently did a definitive piece of evidence finally come to prove that. Supposedly, she started hearing people's prayers. I mean, how do we know it's real? We won't know unless we, talk to the person that did the prayer.
I know. Unless you talk to the people who are praying, you won't know if they're actually, praying to her.
Yeah.
She could be making it. She could be making this up. She could be like a total phony, like, oh, I hear something, and then it's like, no, you're just making stuff up just to get money.
No, we're going on word of faith here.
Yeah. See. So, what's it like hearing them pray? Oh God, Candela, don't open up that can of worms.
I know. Noisy. Of course. More than 1 billion people live in this world. It's hard to keep up with all of them. Sometimes I confuse people who want a wife with people who want a kitten. Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, that's not good.
That's a big difference there.
Yeah.
You can't marry a cat. Here's a new prayer coming in.
Oh
Dear
Lord, here it
Goddess,
comes.
Please give me happiness. Oh, how innocent.
No, lucky for you, Fia, that was innocent. If it was something serious like the child thing, the baby brother thing, you would have made up some poo-poo answer that was simplified somehow, or over-exaggerated, or, oh, I can't hear him, it's fuzzy.
But people don't
Sorry, go on.
understand that we gods can't give them happiness. Happiness
I'm
is
already
like
hating
money.
this character.
What?
I'm already hating this character.
If we start giving out happiness to everyone who asks, its value will start to diminish, and we'll have what economists call an inflation. If people can be content with a certain amount of happiness today, they'd need more than that to be able to consider themselves equally happy after the inflation. If gods gave happiness to everyone in the world, you'd have 100% inflation rate. To be as happy as you were before the inflation, you would need twice as much happiness. And to have twice as much happiness, you'd need twice the amount of things to make you happy. Twice as much money, twice as much friends, twice as many wives.
That last one's a stretch. The wives.
No. But since we have a limited supply of those things, we wouldn't be able to meet the increased demand. In the end, everyone will be less happy. In order to prevent this, we limit the supply of happiness. If you desire more happiness, you'll have to take it from someone else. And that's okay. In other words, happiness is meant to be stolen from one another. It's the way of life.
Wow. Oh, sorry, I was just saying, wow, what a goddess.
She's the
Oh, but I
best,
can,
isn't she?
before you read on, but I was
Yeah.
gonna say, I can think of one kind of inflation Fia has, an inflation of her ego.
I was just saying the same thing.
I just didn't want to interrupt your reading of her dialogue, so I just waited till after to say it.
I know, I have my hands exactly like hers in the picture when I read her. Neither Candela nor I can decipher the goddess's words, but mere mortals like us would never dare question the words of an omnipotent being. Well, she's human, flesh and blood. Lives with a big ego.
Yeah.
Oh, here comes Anna, the not-so-bright one. Fia, Mr. Sherwood is here. He'll take you to the adult ward.
How old is she, though? How old is Fia?
I don't know. Isn't Anna like 19, though?
I guess so.
I think she's like 16 to 19, around there. I don't know how old Fia is. Oh, are you saying your goodbyes to Candela and Janis? Yes, Anna Polidori. Oh geez, please don't do a speech. Oh geez. Farewell, Candela, Carol, and Janis. I wish I could tell you that I will continue to watch over you, but I have not acquired that ability yet.
There's a lot of abilities you haven't acquired, Fia. If I pray to you, will you be able to hear me?
Of course, child. Fia quietly ponders before answering. Oh, I'm surprised. Only if you have enough faith, my child.
That's a convenient excuse. I like it. Ha ha ha.
I'm going to take note of that.
Yeah. Well, no matter. I'm already 16, so I'll be joining you soon. They'll probably move me next year. Ta-ta.
Au revoir. Alfie is saying. Okay, so she must be older than 16.
She must be like 19 or something like that.
Yeah.
Goodbye, Fia, the phony goddess.
Goodbye, Fia. Fia graces us with her holy nod one last time before turning away to deliver some parting words to the rest of her subjects, whose faith in her unfortunately isn't as unshakable as Candela's.
Let's go, Fia.
Mr. Sherwood's voice is weak. His lifeless gaze shoots past Fia. With nothing more to say, Mr. Sherwood begins to walk. Fia silently falls into step. Oh, jeez. She stops when she notices a boy a little farther than the others and walks up to him. I was afraid this would turn into a commotion because Drake always liked to make fun of Fia's delusions. But to my surprise, he only whispers his goodbye while meekly looking away. What if he liked Fia? Look at that look on his face.
I know, I see the look on his face.
Like,
he probably likes Fia.
The girl I like is leaving. The really older one. The one that's really older than me. Fia leaves the boy to catch up to Mr. Sherwood, mumbling something about believers not having to fear gods. As Drake starts to turn around, our eyes meet, and he gets all angry. What are you looking at? Wait, no, not quite. His gaze is a little off.
Oh, Fia's leaving.
Drake turns and hurries back inside the house. Some of his underlings call out to him, but Drake either doesn't hear them or pretends not to. He avoids them entirely, keeping his head down. The boys watch Drake disappear into the house, questioning looks on their faces. Even I'm surprised. What's wrong with Drake? Usually he'd start looking for some poor kid to bully, but this... Though eventually everyone goes back to their daily routine, lamenting their insanity under a tree or telling their darkest secrets to an imaginary friend.
Janis! Janis, let's follow Fia!
Huh?
Come on! Hehehe.
Candela walks joyfully in the direction Fia and Mr. Sherwood went. Having nothing better to do, I follow her. We're gonna get into trouble, probably.
Yeah.
Candela and I keep about 50 paces behind Fia and Mr. Sherwood as they slowly meander in unnerving silence through a narrow path between trees and bushes. What if we take her into the adult ward? We could see what it's like.
Why didn't Drake do what Candela and Janis are doing? Follow them 50 paces back.
I know. It wasn't a long walk, but it felt like one. The door opens. Mr. Sherwood ushers Fia in and quickly shuts the door behind them. Candela is now officially the oldest inmate in the children's ward. The building looks quite different from the one Candela and I live in, and it feels like there's this mysterious aura around it. Very little is known about that building. All we know is that every so often, inmates like Fia are considered old enough to move from the children's ward to this house, and then we never see them again. That's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
I've heard sounds from inside the building, though. It's your normal mix of chatter and laughter with the occasional screams, nothing unusual, so I know people do live here. It's kind of sad that, unlike the child inmates, they're not allowed to play outside. Though it's understandable, some of them have probably grown strong enough to punch a hole through the barriers surrounding the complex, levitating themselves outside or completely nullifying gravity to allow themselves to jump over the barriers. I wonder if I can get in. Maybe Mr. Sherwood forgot to lock the door. I walk to the door and try to open it, but as expected, it's locked. Well, I'll just go back. Just as I'm about to turn around, the door opens. Oh, geez.
Oh, Janis! What are you doing here?
Nothing. Nothing. I followed Candela here.
Candela?
Yeah, I look around. I knew it! I was going to say, where'd she go? There's no Candela. She left me. I look around some more and spot Candela quite a ways away, crouching in front of a bush, her sketchbook in one hand and a pencil in the other. I squint my eyes and notice a frog hopping back and forth in front of her. Oh, it just got distracted. It wasn't intentional.
Oh, I almost thought it was intentional from her.
Apparently somewhere between Janis Let's Follow Fia and my coming, the frog stole her attention. I guess her faith in Fia isn't as unshakable as I thought.
You can't be here, Janis.
If my husband sees you.
Let's go back to your own ward. Come, I'll walk with you.
Miss Sherwood starts walking. I walk next to her. I almost called her Mr.
Well, it's Mrs. first of all, not Miss. She's married.
What? Mrs.?
She's married.
Oh,
huh?
Whoops.
Yeah, MRS means you're married. That Mrs. means you're married.
I knew it meant you're married. Okay, I gotta work on my pronunciation.
Anyway, sorry.
You seem to spend an awful lot of time in that building.
My laboratory is in there, so I always do my magical science and science work in there. Woo!
It's like, woo, baba-doo-doo. Magic science work?
Yes, while my main job is to help my husband manage the madhouse, I also happen to be a magical scientist.
Ah, interesting. I think I've heard you say that before. We continue to walk side by side. You're not using the inmates for a weird science experiment in there, are you?
Please, Janis, you shouldn't joke about such things.
Don't expose us. I wasn't joking. She's trying to brush it off. We don't take kind to those jokes.